Well, hello there. Thank you so much for joining us here at The Big Question at Professor Herman Manyora on YouTube. My name is Simon Irungu, and I'm always joined in by the man himself, Professor Herman Manyora. Prof, you're still on your phone. How you doing? You good?
Good.
Ah, you're looking good. What's the secret to looking young, Prof, at your age?
Just being simple in life. Not square na tamana kama watu wengine. Just be simple.
Okay.
Eat simple. Live simple.
At your age, when I live how you're living, I'm just going to be looking at that, yeah?
Yeah. Even
Okay.
younger.
Let's jump into today's conversation, Prof.
Yes.
Now, there is this conversation going on, a 2027 conversation. This conversation includes Raila Odinga, Kalonzo Musyoka, and Oparanya. Prof, people are saying that Raila is going to have a hard time deciding on who he is going to support in this presidential election to face off William Samoei Ruto. Prof, now, who among Kalonzo and Oparanya do you think is the right candidate to face off William Ruto in the 2027 election?
I think presidency is about power. Power concedes nothing. You go for power.
Okay.
Nobody ever gives anybody power. So between Oparanya, Kalonzo, and anybody in between, and over and above and below and sideways, you fight for it.
Yes, power, but
Yes, you must show you are the one who should get it.
but
You can't
Raila
be
giving you a mention, that's a
Even when
head start.
when Raila said Kibaki Tosha, Kibaki was there at the front. He was sitting at the front. He was not in the crowd. He was there at the front. He has worked his way to be at the front.
But you know, Kenyan politics.
Where Kibaki was, you could not ignore him. So much as Tosha was important, but you cannot Tosha nothing. You must Tosha someone. So even if Raila were to say Kalonzo Tosha, you must be something.
You're saying that-
Kalonzo must be something, so that if he is Tosha, it will amount to something.
okay.
So Oparanya, Kalonzo, Martha Karua, you must be something. Short, in politics, you must bring something to the table.
Okay.
Place it on the table. Who are you? Do you have something in the belly? If you are a weakling, how can somebody help you? Nobody will help you to become president.
Okay. And are we likely to see a conflict between Kalonzo and Oparanya?
All of them want power, and there will be some form of friction. That's obvious.
Okay. And
But,
isn't this going to damage both of them?
It can
when
destroy them, and another one takes over.
Two people.
They can destroy each other, and then Mother Karua takes it. But they can also work in terms of age. And Oparanya can say, Kalonzo has been there longer than I, let him go first.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you agree?
Oparanya can also argue I have more numbers than you. So the man with the numbers like me, I'm bringing many lawyers, so you fall behind me.
In this situation, Prof, what do you think are some of the things that people, maybe the Azimio leaders are going to consider? What are some of the key things that they are going to consider?
I think before you
in terms of
consider
what
whether
you
it's,
bring to the table?
Kalonzo or is that what you are saying? Whether it's Kalonzo or Oparanya, they must first of all be active. The opposition ought to be active.
Okay.
They need to have a structured approach to opposition politics. They must be felt. Kenyans must feel them and see them and touch them. Then, in a more or less natural way, a leader will emerge. They could get support, it would be consensus, people could agree, sit down. But eventually, let me give you a very good example.
Okay.
In Kenya Kwanza, was it ever in doubt that Ruto will be the one running?
There wasn't any doubt.
At some point, they were saying there was Mudavadi had come there, Wetangula, they were going to, but we knew it was Ruto. From Code of 2013 through NASA of 2017, and then Azimio of 2017, was it ever in doubt that Raila would be the flag bearer?
But we were in
The
suspense.
people were arguing and debating, but one day Gumo told them in 2007, please stop bothering us. The Pentagon, Fred Gumo Kango, please stop bothering us. You're wasting our time. You know this thing is for Raila. Don't waste our time. Let's just do other things. Let's begin campaigning. So that sort of thing is the ideal. Where if Raila is not running, Oparanya, Martha Karua, Kalonzo, one of them should just emerge the front runner. So that even if people put up a show of trying to pretend they are choosing one, it's obvious it's Kalonzo. So Kalonzo is the senior among these politicians. he must dash out of the crowd and go for the tape.
Is it
when he looks behind, he must see Oparanya huko nyuma na Martha they are competing in position 2, not 1.
Prof, is it an example that you've used Kalonzo Musyoka? Are you advocating for him?
I'm just giving an example. Okay. I'm not advocating for anybody.
Okay.
I've made myself clear. These people will have to fight for that space.
Okay. While they are fighting.
So far, they have no fight in them. I've not seen the fight.
Mm-hmm. Let me take you back.
They just have some sense of entitlement, which won't take them anywhere.
Let me take you back to a time when the Azimio team, okay, we all knew that it was going to be Raila, yes, but there was still suspense.
Yes.
People saying that someone else might be given this position, you know. And at this time, William Ruto had already started, and people are saying that this is among the few reasons that William Ruto emerged the winner. So if, Prof, these people are going to face off William Ruto, who is currently the president of the nation, that means he's way ahead of all of them. Now, do they need to come up with that decision immediately?
You know, again, it's not something you just call breakfast and then announce over breakfast this Kalonzo. No.
But these are people
It's
who
a
know
product
each
of
other.
dynamics.
These are people who
Part
know
of
each other.
time is part of that dynamics.
Isn't this going to give
what you are
William
saying,
Ruto the head start?
You have a point. That while you are fighting among yourself who is going to be the flag bearer, Ruto is already moving. And it happened in 2022, even 2017. You are taking valuable time, wasting valuable time. Yet you know it will be Raila Odinga, 2017. You are wasting valuable time, yet you know it's Raila Odinga. And even the running mate thing, until the last moment. The sooner, I agree with you, the sooner they decide, the better. But again, it's not something you just sit down and decide. There are many factors to be considered.
History, perhaps?
Many factors. For example, assuming you settle on Martha Karua.
Okay.
People say, between Martha Karua and Kalonzo, who comes with votes? And Oparanya. How many votes did she bring to Raila in 2022? Supposing you settle on Oparanya, for example, over Kalonzo, people say, look here, Kalonzo has supported Raila 3 times. How can somebody else come from the same team to overtake him? Table the evidence that is this. They convince us that Oparanya should come from behind and jump the queue. So and then you give Kalonzo and people say, look here, and there will be questions. So it's not a straightforward thing.
Okay.
That's why I'm saying the resolution is very simple. Let somebody jump ahead of the crowd.
Okay.
And remain ahead, a clear winner. People say, oh, it's Oparanya. Uyata Kalonzo anafight akijua hapana ni Oparanya. And vice versa. Yeah.
And at some point, people say that when there is wrestle between 2 people, it's best if the elder stay aside and the best person to emerge as the winner, Prof. Now, should Raila perhaps maybe stay away from the struggle between the two? Is that going to be a right
Stay away
move?
by not running or by not
involving himself
in choosing
who is going to take
over. That's what I'm saying.
Him.
The best option, even to save Raila from that problem, is let the best man emerge. And I know what they are suffering from. If somebody is from Kalonzo and Oparanya is listening to me, I know what they are suffering from.
What is it?
I know their problem.
Okay.
They look at Ruto, Raila, they don't understand the game. Raila is a politician who pulls the crowd in an organic way. He has followers. He doesn't need to do anything. He just needs to say, "Aya,
Tosha."
Yeah, you too. And even if he says nothing. But for them, they need to organize their campaign. They need to resource their campaigns. Ruto is where he is because he realized that long time ago. He realized that in Kenyan politics, you need resources. You need to make friends. You don't just make friends by talking on the road. You invite them for a cup of tea in your house. You visit them when they have trouble. Kama mtu amefilia unatoa sadaka. In my place it's called Ivani. Pole. Unaingia kwa mfuko na mpa mtu shilingi 5. Mwambia hii sasa nunulia waombolezaji chai. Ruto knew that. So if Kalonzo and Kina Oparanya don't have resources, they should get the hell out of Kenyan politics because they are not Raila.
First of all, you have to come with resources.
You have to have resources and be a person who knows how to use resources. Be also generous. And when you have a clean heart and you are generous, like Ruto, there are even friends who support you. But you yourself, even the little you have, you can't give. So even your friends who would have helped you, they can. So they must learn that Raila is not a person who needs resources. He has automatic following, organic. The rest, like Ruto, must use resources. And they have done so successfully. People like Uhuru are now bringing Uhuru. Uhuru was successful because the tribal agenda was so overwhelming. The Gema community wants power. And they look at Kibaki and they support him. Mean as he is, there are people, rich people from the community supporting the Kibaki campaign. Then comes Uhuru, the same. The community wants to retain leadership. They are out to mobilize on his behalf. He doesn't have to spend money, despite being a billionaire. You would have thought Kibaki was a pauper. But he has left behind billions upon billions of shillings, trucks and trucks of land. But it was that person. So if you want to go the way Kibaki went and think you can get power in this country, I want to announce to Kalonzo Musyoka
And
Oparanya, you are wasting your time. Just get out of Kenyan politics. And the Ruto has put the bar so high in terms of a resource campaign that if you have no money into this thing, just stay home. Go to church, pray, eat well, exercise well, and ask God to give you long life as you watch Ruto and other people run the country. Okay. Don't try to compete. You are wasting your time.
Will I be right?
Because you are not Raila, who doesn't need resources. Like Ruto, you need resources. And Ruto has played the game so well, so smartly, that you don't even see the role of the resources. But he has put the bar so high in terms of running a resource campaign that if you have no money in Kenya's election and you don't have the magnet of Raila, get the hell out of politics. Do other things. Become a pastor, a preacher, what? Go and become a farmer. You know?
Kalonzo is a pastor.
Try goat rearing. Such in Seikulu, if you are Kalonzo. Oparanya can try pond farming, fish farming in Kakamega, Butere and elsewhere, which is a good thing. But to run for president and you have no money, or you have and you are so mean, forget, you cannot make it. That's my advice to Kenya. Even for Raila, he will need to resource his opposition, to structure the opposition, and make sure it has resources to run a credible opposition, ready to take over government. So for Raila, whether he's the one taking over or his side is taking, but with his support, they will need to resource their opposition. Otherwise, first of all, they are going to lose everybody. Because everybody is cheap and they are being bought. So you resource your opposition if you are Raila. Make it functional. Make it opposition competitive. And Ruto has set the bar high in terms of using resources. Okay? Now, once you get power, once you have the power, then you begin to re-engineer the game. You begin to show Kenyans that you don't need to have money to be a politician in this country. And the people need not be convinced
and how difficult
because of
is
money.
It going to be.
That's how but first you get power. First you get
power.
Once you have the power, the president of a country has a lot of power to give direction. You can give people direction, especially if it's about good things. I've seen members of parliament who have been elected and told their people, hapa, hakuna handouts. There's a neighboring MCA in my place, although he's rich. When he became an MCA in 2017, he told people, hata mambo ya kukuja kwangu kukula chakula ambayo walio wamezoea, hakuna. Don't come to my place. He was re-elected again. People have seen, hala, kumbe a person need not cook for us ugali in his home or give us 50 shillings, 100 shillings. He can deliver on the bridges we never imagined. Open roads in places we never imagined there could be a road. Do the right thing. So he has set a record that the people of this ward, I think it's Tambua ward, going forward, you may not need money to convince them or to remain an MCO or to be re-elected. There's a guy called Mboko. It's a good example. There was also MP for Vihiga, Chanzu, before he went a bit ambitious and wanted to be governor. He had shown the people of Vihiga constituency, don't come to my place to eat ugali. This is not there. And there are no handouts. And he was distributing CDF so well, doing things so well. People accepted him the way he was. So you can become president and move away from money-led campaign to demonetize politics.
But they'll have to get rid of Ruto first.
Yeah. When he's there, you
achieve
know.
that.
When he's there to compete against him, you'll need resources. Even if you are Raila. Forget. It's not that you can't fight Ruto without resources.
Okay.
Go home, just stay home. There are many things you can do. You can plant bananas if you are Oparanya. Bananas do very well in Western. You can go into serious farming somewhere in Kitale. Do some tissue culture banana farming if you are Oparanya. I've said Kalonzo can try goat rearing in Sheikulu because
Or become a
the
pastor.
place is very nice for goats.
You said he can also become
Or
a
become
pastor.
a pastor preacher. You can even open your own church.
Okay.
But to deal with Ruto in politics, you need resources. Because that's where the bar has been placed. It's not even enough to be popular like Raila. You need to resource your campaign.
Okay. Let's end the conversation at that, Prof. And on who is going to take over from Raila, Prof has said that power is taken. People will have to step up their game in order to compete with William Ruto come 2027. Well, if you have not subscribed to the channel, well, go ahead, do so. Remember, share the content with your friends, like, comment. Remember, some of the contents that we come up with are taken from the comment section. Well, till you have the next episode, enjoy the rest.